Most people who look at a balance sheet see a wall of numbers. They scan it, feel vaguely confused, and close it. CEOs do not do that. A CEO opens a balance sheet and within 60 seconds has a picture of the entire financial health of the business, not because they are better at maths, because they know exactly what to look for and where to find it. This video gives you that same 60-second framework. By the end of the next 12 minutes, you will read a balance sheet the way executives do, not the way accountants teach it. Start with what a balance sheet actually is. Because most explanations get this wrong, a balance sheet is a snapshot. Not a movie, not a trend, a single photograph of what a company owns, what it owes, and what is left over for the owners, taken on one specific date. Every quarter, every public company publishes this snapshot, and every time they do, it tells anyone who knows how to read it exactly where the business stands. That snapshot has three parts: assets, everything the company owns or is owed; cash in the bank, inventory on the shelves, equipment in the factory; property on the books, money customers owe but have not yet paid. All of it has value, all of it counts. Liabilities, everything the company owes to someone else; bank loans, supplier invoices, tax bills, bonds issued to investors, money owed to employees, all of it must eventually be paid. Equity. What is left after you subtract liabilities from assets? This is the owner's stake, the residual claim on everything that remains after every obligation is settled. Think of it as the net worth of the business. If the company sold every asset and paid every debt tomorrow, equity is what the owners would walk away with. And these three always balance, always. Assets equal liabilities plus equity. That equation is not a coincidence. It is the mathematical identity that every balance sheet is built on. Every single dollar on the asset side is funded either by borrowed money or by the owner's own capital. If it does not balance, something is wrong. The first thing a CEO does when opening a balance sheet is not read it. They orient themselves. 4 questions, in order, every time. First, can this business pay its bills right now? Second, how much debt is it carrying and can it manage that load? Third, is the business getting more valuable or less valuable over time? Fourth, are there any red flags hiding in the numbers? Everything on the balance sheet answers one of those 4 questions. Once you know the questions, the document stops being a wall of numbers and becomes a series of answers waiting to be found. A comprehensive view of financial health requires looking at performance from 4 distinct but interconnected perspectives: profitability, liquidity, efficiency, and leverage. Over 70% of CFOs identified improved metrics and reporting as critical for 2025. These are not just accounting exercises, they are the questions that determine whether a business survives or fails. Most people who read a balance sheet start at the top and work down. They read every line trying to understand each number in isolation. That is the wrong approach. A balance sheet is not read like a book, it is interrogated like a witness. You come in with specific questions and you find the answers. The questions always come first. The first question, can this business pay its bills right now, is answered by looking at liquidity. Liquidity is not about how much money a company has. It is about how quickly that money can be accessed when a bill arrives. On the asset side of the balance sheet, assets are split into 2 groups: current assets, things that will become cash within the next 12 months. Cash itself, accounts receivable, and inventory are the 3 main current assets. These are the liquid assets, the ones a company can call on when it needs to pay something now. Non-current assets, things that will not become cash quickly: property, equipment, long-term investments, patents. These have real value but cannot be converted to cash in a hurry without significant cost or loss. On the liability side, the same split applies: current liabilities, bills due within the next 12 months, supplier invoices, short-term loans, upcoming tax payments, wages owed. These are the obligations that need to be settled soon. Non-current liabilities, obligations due further in the future, long-term debt, lease commitments, pension obligations, serious commitments, but ones the company has time to manage. The CEO's liquidity check is simple: current assets divided by current liabilities. That number is called the current ratio. A current ratio between 1.2 and 2 typically indicates healthy breathing room. The company can cover its short-term obligations and still has some buffer. Below 1 means the company owes more in the short term than it can quickly access. That is not automatically a crisis. Some companies manage this deliberately by keeping tight cash cycles, but it is the first thing that needs explaining when you see it. Very high is not always good either. A ratio above 3 or 4 can mean the company is sitting on cash it is not deploying. Money that is idle is not working. A CEO sees a very high current ratio and asks, why is all this capital sitting still? Could it be invested? Could it be returned to shareholders? Could it be used to reduce expensive debt? The number is a starting point. The question it triggers is the real work. The second question, how much debt is this business carrying, is answered by looking at leverage. Debt is not the enemy. Used well, debt accelerates growth. It lets a company invest in expansion, equipment, or acquisitions without diluting the owner's equity. A business that never uses debt may be leaving significant growth on the table. The question is not whether the company has debt. The question is whether it has the right amount. The key ratio here is debt to equity. Total liabilities divided by shareholders' equity. It tells you how much of the company is funded by borrowed money versus money the owners actually put in. A debt-to-equity ratio between 0.5 and 1.5 is generally considered healthy across most industries. Below 1 means the company funds itself more from equity than debt. Conservative, stable, lower risk. Between 1 and 1.5, the company uses debt strategically but is not overextended. Above 2, the company relies heavily on borrowed money. That is not automatically dangerous. Some industries like utilities and real estate operate comfortably with high debt because their revenue is predictable and their assets are stable. A utility company with a debt-to-equity ratio of 2.5 might be in excellent financial health. A technology startup with the same ratio in a volatile market is a completely different risk profile. Context is everything. The ratio is the starting point. The industry benchmark is the reference point. What a CEO looks at alongside the ratio is the composition of the debt. Short-term debt that needs to be repaid within 12 months is far more dangerous than long-term debt with a 10-year runway. A company with $200 million in long-term bonds and strong cash generation is in a fundamentally different position than a company with $50 million in short-term loans and no cash buffer. Both might show a similar debt-to-equity ratio. Only one of them has a real problem. The ratio gives you the number, the composition tells you the risk. The third question, is this business getting more valuable or less valuable, is answered by looking at equity. Equity has two main components: share capital, the money investors originally paid in when the company issued shares. This number rarely changes. It is the starting stake, the amount put in at the beginning. Looking at it tells you how the company was originally capitalized, not much else. Retained earnings, the profits the business has generated over its entire life and chosen not to pay out as dividends. This number changes every year. Every profitable year adds to it, every loss subtracts from it, every dividend paid reduces it. And it tells you more about the long-term health of the business than almost any other number on the sheet. If retained earnings are growing year on year, the company is consistently profitable and choosing to reinvest in itself. That is a compounding machine. The equity base grows, the balance sheet strengthens, the company has more to work with each year. If retained earnings are shrinking, the company is paying out more than it earns, funding losses, or both. That is a business consuming its own foundations. You can sustain that for a year if the reasons are temporary. You cannot sustain it indefinitely without the business eventually running out of road. A CEO looks at retained earnings across 3 to 5 years. Not just the current snapshot. The trend is the signal. A single bad year can be explained. A major investment, a one-time write-down, an economic shock. 3 consecutive years of declining retained earnings is a pattern. And patterns in financial statements always demand a strategic response. The fourth question, are there any red flags hiding in the numbers, is where experience separates good executives from average ones. The numbers on a balance sheet are accurate, but accuracy and transparency are not the same thing. The structure of a balance sheet allows things to be technically correct while still obscuring the real picture. CEOs know where to look. Red flag 1, goodwill that keeps growing. Goodwill appears on the balance sheet when a company acquires another business for more than its book value. The premium paid gets recorded as goodwill on the asset side. A little goodwill is normal. Every acquisition involves some premium for control and future potential. A lot of goodwill relative to total assets means the company has been paying over the odds for acquisitions. Repeatedly, if those acquisitions do not perform, that goodwill gets written down, and the loss lands directly in the equity section. Companies have destroyed billions in shareholder value through goodwill write-downs that should have been predicted before the acquisitions were made. Red flag 2, receivables growing faster than revenue. Accounts receivable is money owed to the company by customers who have received goods or services but have not yet paid. Some receivables are normal. Businesses extend credit. Customers pay on terms. If receivables are growing much faster than revenue, it means customers are taking longer to pay. Or the company is booking revenue that may never actually arrive in the form of cash. That is a cash flow problem waiting to materialize. And in a cash flow crisis, a profitable company can still fail. Red flag 3. Inventory that is not moving. Rising inventory with flat or falling sales means the company is producing things it cannot sell. That capital is locked up in warehouses and on production lines. It is not generating a return. It is costing money to store and insure. And eventually, unsellable inventory either gets written down or written off. Another direct hit to equity. Red flag 4, current liabilities exceeding current assets. This is the liquidity check failing. The company owes more in the short term than it can access quickly. It does not mean the business is failing. Large, healthy companies occasionally run negative working capital deliberately. But it means someone needs to explain how the gap is being managed, and that explanation needs to be convincing before you proceed. Put all of this together, and the 60-second CEO red looks like this. Step 1, check the current ratio. Current assets divided by current liabilities. Between 1.2 and 2, healthy. Below 1, needs explanation. Above 4, ask why capital is sitting idle. Step 2, check the debt to equity ratio. Total liabilities divided by shareholders' equity. Between 0.5 and 1.5, generally healthy. Above 2, and understand the industry context before drawing conclusions. Then look at the composition. How much of the debt is short-term versus long-term? Step 3. Look at the retained earnings trend, not just the current number, the direction over 3 to 5 years. Growing, the business is building value. Shrinking, the business is consuming it. Flat, the business is standing still while the world moves on. Step 4. Scan for the 4 red flags. Goodwill that is large relative to total assets. Receivables growing faster than revenue. Inventory rising with flat or falling sales. Current liabilities exceeding current assets. Any one of these flags earns a deeper look. More than one in the same document, and you have found the real conversation that needs to happen. This is not about finding problems. It is about knowing where to look. So you are never surprised by what you find. 56% of CFOs rank enterprise-wide cost optimization as one of their top 5 priorities for 2026. The executives leading those conversations are not reading every line of the balance sheet. They are asking the same 4 questions every time. Can we pay our bills right now? How much debt are we carrying, and can we manage it? Is the business getting more valuable over time? Where are the red flags? The balance sheet does not tell you everything about a company. It does not tell you about the quality of the leadership team. It does not tell you about the competitive dynamics of the market. It does not tell you whether the product is loved or tolerated. But it tells you more, faster, than almost any other document in existence. It tells you whether the business can survive the next 12 months. It tells you whether the owners are building something or consuming something. It tells you whether the financial structure is strong enough to support whatever strategy comes next. If you know what you are looking for, it does not lie. But it does not volunteer the truth either. That is how to read a balance sheet like a CEO.